Welcome to the SIWIKE podcast, the only podcast that shares the stuff you didn't know you needed to know about jobs, careers, and life. The SIWIKE podcast, the stuff I wish I knew earlier.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier, the podcast. I'm your host, Luki, and for today's topic, I thought we'd go into the typical job hunt day. So a lot of folks have been reaching out to say, okay, I've seen all of your advice on resumes, interviews, networking, but if I really want to get into and have an effective job hunt, what do I actually do on a day-to-day basis? So for those that follow me, you know that your job hunt should be your full-time job, right? So assuming that you're not working and you're able to commit kind of a typical 8-hour day, so from like 9 to 5 or whatever, it should basically be your full-time job. So what do you do during those 8 hours? So I would recommend folks to start their day right. So let's pretend that you start at 9 o'clock. And before then, at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, whatever, start your morning ritual, right? So do things like do your business in the bathroom, get yourself a refresh, do some light body weight exercises. So like a 5-minute Tabata or just some push-ups, jumping jacks or crunches or whatever it is. Something to get yourself moving. Get hydrated. So drinking a tall glass of water and getting yourself and doing what's called an internal bath, right? Taking some time to journal, right? Writing some insights of your day using the 5221 or using some gratitude journaling or whatever it is. Spending some time reading, right? It could be just 15 minutes, a couple of pages every day, and you'll find that accumulates. And maybe setting some intentions, affirmations, visualizations of what are the things that you expect for today, right? The amazing opportunities that you have and the amount of interviews and offers that you'll be getting shortly. So starting your day right, and it only needs to be about half an hour of that, right? So a couple of minutes for each of those activities can go a long way. So by the time 9 o'clock rolls around and you're ready to start your day, you're already primed to have an amazing day. And I would probably start the day with interviews. So I would do some interview practice, right? So if you take a look at the interview guidance, you would have gone to Google or your favorite search engine and search for the top 100 interview questions. You would have printed them out, cut them up, and put them in a little bowl. And then every day you're doing one of those questions, right? So you spend about 20 minutes reviewing the questions from the night before, right? So I recommend about 8 interview questions every day and at 2 minutes a pop. So that's roughly 16 minutes. So let's round it up to 20 and you're reviewing it, right? And you want to spend 20 minutes or a couple of minutes in between reviewing it and saying, okay, what did I do well? What could I have done better? So maybe look at like eye contact, maybe look at the way that you answered the question, getting yourself from, okay, this answer, I think it was a 7 out of 10. How do I make it get to an 8? It was an 8. How do I get to a 9? It was a 2. How do I get it to higher than a 2, right? So whatever it is to improve. And then spending the next 20 minutes recording the next batch so that you can review it the next day. So in the improvements, picking one area to focus on, right? So for those next 8 questions, maybe it's completely focusing on the eye contact. Make sure that you get it right. And then the next day, again, eye contact. Maybe for the next 10 days, focus on eye contact or whatever it is that you want to work on, and then move on to the next thing. So that's kind of the first hour that's your job hunting. And then I'd encourage you to take a 15-minute break. So take an energizing break. So go take a walk, go do some quick stretches or exercises or whatever. Watch a funny video or give someone a call that you've been missing and you want to catch up with. Something quick, something to get your energies levels up. And that's going to be different for different people. But avoid things like social media and just scrolling and aimlessly wandering. Do something that you know energizes you, right? So 10-15 rolls around, and then this is when you start networking, right? So you go into LinkedIn, you go online, alumni websites or your different meetup events that you are looking for. And you find one to attend during this week, right? So sign up for on Eventbrite, on meetup.com, on your alumni sites, on whatever mailing list that you're on. Pick one to attend, right? And then spend the time. So that might take you maybe 15-20 minutes to do that. And then you spend the time to connect with new people of interest, right? Going on LinkedIn and finding people whose job you want, people who are in the companies that you feel that you can add value to, people who are just interesting and you'd want to get to know. Again, making sure to send a personalized invitation request when you do message them, and let them know why you want to connect with them. And then you can take and use, I guess, the Pomodoro method to chunk up your day, so that after 25 minutes, you're taking a 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break, and so on, so that you're not losing your energy too quickly. And the second half of that, before lunchtime rolls around, is you want to reconnect, right? So go into your old LinkedIn messages and connect with people that you haven't spoken to in 4 months, in 6 months, in 6 years, or however long that you haven't connected with folks. Going into your text messages and scrolling all the way down to the oldest message, and then messaging that person, and seeing what they're up to, right? So reconnecting with 8 people. So connecting with 8 new people of interest, reconnecting with 8 people that you haven't spoken to in a while. And for those people that you've connected with already, look to do a value brainstorm. So thinking about how you could help them and add value to them. There might be a resource that you found, or you might have met someone recently that you feel that they could collaborate on, or maybe you've learned a new skill that you would love to help them with over the weekend, or over the next little while, right? Whatever it is, look to add value to them, and see if you can come up with some items of value for the people that you've connected with in the past, or maybe the people that you've just recently connected with. So by that time, it'll be lunch. So take that 1 hour or half an hour, however long you want to spend, and take a break, right? Energize yourself, get yourself some nourishing food. Try to get as much real food as you can, right? Go into the fridge instead of the pantry. Try to make it fresh with real whole foods. And once you're energized again, might do a quick something invigorating again, some quick exercises, stretches, or whatever, and then at 1 o'clock rolls around and you're starting your workday again. So this is where you go into the applications. So you go on your job boards, you go into your alerts, and you find, okay, which jobs suit me today? And if you're just starting out, you might be able to do one, right? So you grab your resume, you reverse engineer it against the job posting, and you fill it in, right? So you spend the next 2 to 3 hours building your application for this particular role, right? But as you get better and better, then you might be able to, instead of taking 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours for one application, you might take only 2 hours. So in a 4-hour period, you might be able to do 2 applications, and then you might only take 1 hour, and then you might only take 30 minutes, and you might only take 15 minutes. So by the time you're in maybe your second week, after going through maybe 10 days of this, you'll hopefully be able to do it in kind of like 15 to 30 minutes, right? And also what will happen is the number of jobs won't be as frequent, right? So the first time you go in, you might have an abundance of jobs where you can't even get to them every day. But after maybe 10 days of doing this, there might only be like 1 or 2 jobs that come through every day. So you'll be limited in terms of the amount of applications that you'll be able to do. So do your best, spend like an hour to 3, depending on your cadence and your frequency and the frequency of the jobs coming in, applying, right? Reverse engineer the job posting, make sure to write a personalized cover letter, and thinking about the organizations that you want to join, and make it personal. Use the Pomodoro technique again, like 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break, so that you're not really losing energy throughout the whole application process. And then spend the last time, so whatever balance that you have before you clock out at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whenever you want to end your day, doing things to gain you more experience, or maybe doing value projects for other people. So we talked about like the value brainstorm in the networking, but this is where you actually enact the time, right? So if you're producing some sort of deliverables, or doing some research, or doing whatever it is for one of the people that you met in your network, well, spend the time to do it. If you're upskilling and taking a course, this is like the hour or 2 or whatever that you're spending gaining that additional experience. If you're doing a personal project, right, you can add that in there. If you're looking for volunteer activities, right, this is something that you can try to get local experience and more recent experience in whatever that you're looking to apply to. So spending that last little bit, getting that experience. And then by the time 5 or 6 o'clock rolls around, you'll be able to kind of cut out, and knowing that you had a very productive day, right? And basically what you want to do is spend the last little bit thinking and reflecting on how your day went, right? So going back and saying, okay, what went well? Right? And making a note of the different areas. So when you were practicing your interviews, when you were networking, when you were applying, when you're doing your experience or your value projects or whatever it was in the last little bit, what went well? And then also think about what could you improve, right? So now that you know what went well, what are different things that you can improve? And make a note of that so that you can do that for the next day when you go around and do it all over again, right? So if there's little ways to improve your efficiency, whatever you come up with or new resources or new things that you've come across, then make sure to incorporate that into the rest of your day. And then ideally take some time to shut down, right? So go spend time with the family, the friends, the kids, or whoever is around you, and allow yourself to have dinner, allow yourself to kind of relax for the rest of the day. And if you really want to, then you can add another like 2 or 3 hours in the evening to kind of allow yourself some kind of that extra effort, because obviously the more you put in, the more you get out. But make sure to be able to get a good night's rest, right? So don't stay up till the wee hours of the night. Make sure that you're able to get rested. So if you're waking up for kind of 8 o'clock, then making sure that you sleep by kind of midnight, so you get that full kind of 7.5, 8 hours worth of rest. So whatever you have in the meantime, you can continue on. And I encourage you to continue to be a lifelong learner. So whether it's related to your professional work or your job search or whatever, do something for you. Right? So it might be like an art project, or it might be even your side hustle or whatever it is. Do something that kind of keeps you alive and invigorated and gives you another sense of purpose. Because keep in mind that the job hunt it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? So you'll be doing this for a while. Like the typical job hunt takes like kind of 1 to 6 months. So if you're on the longer end, right? Keeping this up for 6 months can be really challenging, right? But if you're energizing yourself and you're keeping yourself motivated with these other things, then you can do that actually pretty easily, right? And in no time, you'll be getting more interviews, you'll be getting more offers, and then you'll be looking to set yourself up for the next opportunity. So that's how I'd spend a typical day on the job hunt. So starting off by getting ready and making sure that you do your morning routine to start it off right, to start with interview questions, right? Because they're usually pretty quick and you can get them done. Then networking, so reconnecting or connecting with people of interest, and then reconnecting with other folks, doing a value brainstorm, taking some time for lunch and to get some nutritious food inside of you. Then continuing on with applications, so doing as many as you can and with the quality that you need to in order to land an interview, and then spending the remainder of the time with getting additional experience or doing value projects or something that can be added to your portfolio or to be more bullet points onto your resume. And then when you decide to clock out, re-energize yourself so that you can prepare yourself and sustain yourself for the marathon that is the job hunt. So those are some tips on how you might want to spend your typical job hunt, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining us on the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier, the podcast. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this podcast. And if you can give us a review, that would be very appreciated. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn at Luki Danu, LUKIDANU, and the same on most social media platforms. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.